How would you like to acquire backlinks that add thousands to your monthly revenue? Hi, I'm Jaryd Krause, host of the Buying Online Businesses podcast, and in this episode, I'm speaking with Dan Ray, who is an SEO Pro and Backlink Builder. He has helped clients add thousands of dollars per month to their businesses with bespoke backlink building services. Now, Dan is completely sold out, so it's almost impossible to become a client of his, but we were lucky enough to get him in our mastermind to train us how we can build premium backlinks for ourselves using his own methods and using our own team. And because this was so valuable, I want to release part one of this training to you guys as an podcast episode. Now, in this episode, Dan and I talk about his wild health story and how it ended up helping him become a better business owner. Now, Dan and I try to get himself booked on to do this training multiple times, but his health was playing up. So there's some interesting things happening. It's got to do with losing an eye and kidney failure and all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned for that wild story. We also talk about in the episode why it's against Google's terms to even ask for a backlink, even without paying for it. But we also talk about what is a good backlink versus a bad backlink, not just using DR, and how we can build whitehat backlinks in an organic, evergreen strategy. We also talk about why link building can be easy. Most people presume it as being hard, but it can be easy if you know how, using Dan's systems. We also talk about what tool Dan uses for backlink building outreach. There's so much value in this podcast episode. Get stuck in. Do you want to build or grow your content website? Niche website builders have helped hundreds of people to take their content websites from a few $100s per month to over tens of thousands of dollars per month with crafted content creation, buying aged domains, and link building strategies. These strategies have helped people increase their traffic, authority, monthly earnings, and their website valuation too. Head to nicheWebsite.builders/BOB/ to get 10% off any link building or 10% more from their content creation services. That's nicheWebsite.builders/Bob/. I'll put a link in the description too. Dan, thank you so much for coming on and welcome back to the Bob podcast.
What up?
So last time you were on, actually, I don't think it was the last time, but the first time you were on, episode 35, we talked about your 10 by 10 link building strategy. So people are listening, make sure you go away and check that out. Then we've also updated that. There's another episode. I couldn't find the number as quickly as I wanted to before you came on, but we updated that to the 10 by 10 by 10 link building strategy. So there's 2 episodes there that you guys should go and listen to if you haven't already. But Dan, I wanted to get you back on, do a bit of a training for us in the mastermind and then release the first half as an episode. And we were going to do it late last year, and then some things happened, and you said you've got an interesting story for us. So I guess I'll hand over the mic to you. What happened?
Yeah, I've had a really, really bad year, to be honest. Like in terms of interesting,
into 2021, right?
Yeah, this whole year it's just been pretty to be honest. But I woke up one day in the middle of March and my left eye was really blurry, and I was like, that's weird. So I went to the hospital. So I'm like thinking they're gonna, give me some sort of cream or some tablets or whatever and it'll just clear up in a few weeks. They say, and the nurse was brutal as well, man. She just went, oh, so this is permanent. We'll try and save what vision you have left. And I'm like, cheers, mate. Like, what do you do with that information? I vomited. I was like, I just got really hot and I was like, bleh.
That's scary to hear, right?
Yeah, because I'm just like, right, so I'm going blind now. That's fantastic news. Because my right eye wasn't as blurry, but it was still quite bad. So my left eye was pretty, almost useless. And it was so bad that trying to look out of both of my eyes was worse than just looking at my right eye. So I was wearing an eye patch. And they're just telling me that there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. I'm like, great. And I go in one day to the doctor and I'm just like, look, is there nothing I can do? Because I can't work. I can't look at my computer because I can't see. Looking at you 3 guys now, it'd be just beautiful blurs. I
was messaging you and you're like, I don't know what you said because I can't read. And that was a few months ago.
My entire business runs online. I couldn't do anything. So I'm like, look, there's got to be something. And he goes, well, there's this experimental treatment, right? And they inject the back of your eyeball and suck out, I guess, water pressure. I don't know. exactly. And he's like, but it's probably only about 50-50 whether you lose your eye or not.
Whoa.
So I say, well, my eye's shit anyway.
Yeah. So you can't really, you couldn't really see from it anyway, right?
Exactly. And I did it, and it really helped. Like, it's much better.
Oh, awesome.
Like, I still can't see that well, but it's much better. So then I'm like, whew, chilling off that, feeling good. And then my kidneys failed, complete renal failure. So I'm in hospital for a while after that, and they go, oh, yeah, this is permanent too, by the way. So you're going to have dialysis for like 3 times a week for the rest of your life. And I'm like, great. But I'm on the transplant list. And I've been diabetic since I was 8 years old as well. So like when they do that, when they give you the transplant, they're going to do a kidney and a pancreas, which means I won't be diabetic for the first time in my life. So that's actually quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So you get a new kidney, right?
Like, yeah, but I have like at the moment I have like a permanent chest tube in.
Yeah.
Like, I would show you, but you've used. I want to see that. So yeah, do you know what the most? Oh, I guess the most Dan Ray thing about this is I've been sat in dialysis because dialysis takes 4 hours, right? You sit there, they take your blood out, and they put it back in, and you can't go anywhere or do anything. So like I've been working
During the day.
like, at no other, like I'm the most distracted mother in the world. Like I cannot sit still and do 4 hours of work at any other time. So I've been forced into doing work, and it's been actually really good for business.
That's so good. I guess it's a blessing in the pain, right? Like I went through glandular fever, and I'm not saying, I can't one up you at all. I mean, kidney failure and eye failure is nothing compared to, it's way worse compared to being a little bit sick and getting glandular fever. But that I look back at that and I'm like, that's one good thing that happened to me because I just overworked and I got so sick and I couldn't work anymore. So it forced me to work less and it helped me with my business so much. Now I can work less, but earn more. And that was a blessing for me in amongst the crap so I'm sorry to hear about your year, but I'm stoked with the 4 hours of focus that you've got. That's cool.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like out of all of it that's happened, the most annoying thing is like I'm on a fluid restriction and I get so thirsty.
You can't drink as much water.
I'm allowed to drink like 1 liter a day total fluid, and that includes like, if you go for a meal and you have gravy on it, like you have to include the gravy in your fluid allowance. It's so annoying.
So you're thirsty
all the time, man. All the time.
Yeah, I'm always getting in trouble by my partner for not drinking enough water. Man, sorry to hear about your year, but so tell us what you've been working on those 4 hours of. Is that client work?
Well, yeah, a bit of everything really. Like, so what I've always run through this sort of goal of if something happens to me, because I don't know if you're aware, like this kind of shit's happened to me before. Like my kidneys have always been dodgy and they sometimes fail, but they usually come back without any, really long-term meaningful like treatment options. Usually it's a couple of tablets and stuff and they're okay again. So I've always been like, right, when my kidneys fail and I need to, because you can't really work. You're feeling shit in hospital. I'm in there for like a month at a time sometimes. And it's just like, I need my business to continue running without me being present and being a part of it. And it seems like, I don't believe in fate and stuff like that, right? But every time I start losing that part of my business, it happens and reminds me the team are really important. The processes are really important. You need to have all these things in place. So Dan Ray is not required. So it's reinvigorated that. And now I have a brilliant team that like, I was like, right, this never happening again. And this was when my eyes happened. So before my kidneys went down, I was like, right, need the team to be in place. I need them to be rock solid, because I had a team and they were doing good work, but they were I guess I'd been a bit slack in the management of them.
And you could pick up the slack as well because you had time. Yeah.
And I was, because it's like if we're behind on a campaign, I just do a couple of days and we catch up.
But that you can't do that. You can't just go, I'll pick up the slack when I'm in hospital.
Well, yeah, because the first thing that happened with my eyes was they gave me these disgusting like steroid injections in my eyes to try and save them, I guess. You can see the needle like through your eye as it's going into your eyes. It's disgusting. Yeah, it's horrible. But
that's gnarly.
But after that, it scratches the inside of your eye. So I was completely blind for like nearly a month, like 3 weeks to a month. So I was like, right, in this time, nothing got done because my team weren't capable of working without me, because they were just, what they got used to was coming and asking me every day, Dan, is this good enough? Shall we do this? And without me saying yes, they couldn't make the decisions by themselves. So we fixed that. And that's mainly what I've been doing. And also I'm working on like, I'm really trying to grow like my own personal reputation now, because I know I've always been capable of it, but I could never really be bothered like playing the game, to sell courses and stuff. But I've spoken to a few of the guys who are doing it on Twitter, and they're doing it crazy. So I'm running a load of Twitter ads at the moment. I'm on about 5,000 followers. I want to get to 10K before probably the end of next week.
Cool. Wow.
And
okay.
then we're going to start selling some courses on there.
And you've got a really good community as well, right? Like you've got, like when in that Facebook group, I'm like, man, you've got some good interaction. Like it's cool to see.
Yeah, the Facebook group it's the thing about it is it's really reliant on me as an individual. Like it's a really cool place to be, and I'm really proud of what I built. But if I don't post, it doesn't really sustain itself.
Yeah, and your personality, your personality is so like it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to replace your because I know your personality. It may be hard for people, the listeners, to understand, but you've got a pretty different personality to most people, and it's cool and it's funny. Yeah. Well, how would I don't know how. It's very unique. It's you are you, and there's no. What I like about it is you're being you, and you're not apologizing for being you. That's cool.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the group for me it was never supposed to be like a training community. The idea was people were bugging me and asking me for questions. That I was like, right. The actual very first day I made the group, the idea was every time somebody asked me a question, I'll make a video to explain it. And then every time someone asks that question, I don't have to answer it. I can just share the video that I've already answered. But obviously, like the world doesn't work like that, because people want the same answer over and over again.
Yes.
Like in a new format. So it doesn't work like that, but I'm really proud of what I've done there. And but it does require me a lot. So when I'm down and because right now I'm completely unavailable. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, those are my dialysis days. I'm completely unavailable. It wipes me out. I come home from hospital and I eat food and I go to sleep. So I've got Tuesday, Thursday, and then the weekends, and nobody is around on Facebook at the weekends. So
yeah, that's it. Eh? So I want to send people to your group to check that out, but I want them to know why, right? And like, because we haven't even talked about link building yet. But thanks for sharing your story, because I think there's so many things within that. Like you said, it's very Dan Ray. You can see the positives in it, and the good things that have come from it. So where are you? Are you doing a different type of link building now? Are you still doing your 10 by 10 strategy?
Well, we're doing, so I guess it's really hard to say this because I've said it privately, but this is my first public saying of it.
Ooh.
Like I've fully sold out.
Okay. Congrats.
Right. Yeah, I was like, I've always, when I've been teaching link building, I've always been it for like, I absolutely loved doing it. I loved getting the link. That it was better for me when we couldn't get links, then I could solve the problem of getting a link. And like that's the bit that I love. So we always did it white hat as anything. We always we worked on the harder clients that other people can't get links for and stuff like that, and we charge a lot of money for it. And I've never really sold to my audience, and I was always apprehensive of selling to like SEO agencies and other SEOs and that kind of thing, simply because I thought I don't want somebody making a margin on what I'm doing because I'm already overpriced.
Yeah, and then they own the audience and you don't have one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So now I'm a bit more. I say a bit more. I'm absolutely completely in on selling to my audience.
Okay.
Like, right, we can do links. we can do better links than most other people can do, and here's the price. So I'm right now, it's like, how can I make as much money as possible in the most stress-free way possible?
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people exactly what they're getting. I tell people exactly what the price they are. And you know what? If you don't want to pay the price and you're a bit like, you're going to do a lot of links with me and stuff, I'll talk to you about it. Because right now I'm saying, I'm a businessman. You're a businessman. Let's talk to each other like businessmen and make a sale. As long as my margins are still good, I'll do it.
Yeah, and if it's not, then you don't need that. Like it's, you don't want to be wasting your time. Somebody's going to nickel and dime. You talk about, most people know what whitehat is, but yeah, let's talk about what it makes a good backlink. What's a good backlink look like? Because this is a lot of people are just like, hey, I just want to hire a DR site, right? But there's so many other things that go into it. That are very important, that a lot of people miss the mark, especially people that are listening right now. They're like, yeah, I just want a good link from a good site. But come on, you can get robbed if you just get that.
Yeah. Well, first off, so the word white hat, right? It's a marketing term. There's no such thing as a white hat link, because if you're following Google's terms of service exactly, you shouldn't be asking for a link at all, ever. Under any circumstance, whatever the value exchange is.
Should not be buying links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even if you're not buying them, you shouldn't. Like a free link is still, if you say to them, "Can I have a link?" or you perform any activity that.
So guest posting and stuff for a link is still not under the policy, right?
Yeah, because you're not supposed to do anything that's aimed at getting a link. Like I imagine the internet would look if that didn't exist, but.
I agree.
It's a technical term.
How many? Yeah, I agree.
So what I mean when I say white hat, what I mean is it's manual outreach without using an existing list and without paying for the link at the end. So it's as white hat, as close to Google's terms of service as can be.
Just want to define that for people that are going to would use you as a service or anybody else as a service. Yeah, you're going to need to pay for their link builder to do that service. But the link builder's not paying for the link because of the service that they're doing to get that, right? Just for people to understand that conceptually.
That's the theory. But so as time's gone on, so when I first met you, like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that.
That's what I think I said to these guys, the other day.
Yeah, since then, the world's changed, man. Like there's so many people teaching link building and it's really, really easy to go to any blog owner and say, hey, can I have a link? They say no. I say, I'll give you $50. They can say, okay. Because a lot of blog owners don't have any money. They're running this blog. They're trying to make money off it. And the first offer that comes to them is a link builder saying, hey, can I have a link? So like a lot of blog owners now, they're used to being offered money. So it means the ones that are available who will do it for free, less available. So there's just less links out there now if you're doing white hat stuff. So the game's changed a lot. It's actually easier to get white hat links now because the people who send out because link builders send out thousands of emails every day.
Oh, it's crazy.
They're like, hey, do you want some money? Do you want some money? Do you want some money? And people hate it, and they're so used to seeing the email. The format's the same, the templates are the same. So if you stand out, you don't even have to stand out that much. If you stand out a little bit, people are more willing to at least read your email, right, and see what you're offering. And I always say to people, like, it's all about the value exchange. Nobody's gonna ever say, oh yeah, I'll just give you a link for nothing. It has to be worth their time, right? So you've given them a really well-written post, which most people aren't doing. So we hire full-time writers and they spend a whole day researching and writing one article. That's an 8-hour day to write, 1,000 words. So our writing's good, so we can do stuff like that. But a lot of link builders, they're not trying to do that. They're just trying to say, hey,
give us a link, and that's it.
Because my life's much easier to say, hey, do you want $30? Oh, you've got an existing post that has my keyword in it. Do you want $30? And if they say yes, that's a way easier link than having to first negotiate
create an article,
and then come up with an article idea, and then have the writer write it. Like, oh,
it's a lot of work, and also managing the people through that process. Just throwing money at it is an easy resolve.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a bit about the process of how people, if people were crazy enough to go away and do it themselves, I could never.
So it's like, do you know what? Actually, if you don't mind paying for links, it's so fucking easy to do it.
Yeah.
Like I made it right. I found out I was going blind, and next day I was like, I'm still useful. Rah, rah, rah. And I sat down here, probably wearing this exact same outfit, and I made a course, right? And it was the most simplest process in the world of like, it was 21-minute videos. It was like, do this, and then me doing it, and then do this, and then me doing it. It was the most followable, actionable thing. Like, and I called it link building for people with no skill. What was it? No skill and no experience. Because I probably couldn't have got away with calling it link building for dummies, right?
Yeah.
But that was the aim.
Nobody wants to buy that.
Yeah. So, and I was selling it, and I was like, it's so easy, because we use this tool called BuzzStream. Do you know it? So there's a tool called BuzzStream, right? And it has like a little plugin for Chrome. And what you do is you can Google stuff like, the top 100 blogs about, I don't know,
Dogs.
blogging.
Yeah, blogging.
Yeah, dogs, whatever, right? And it will pull up, people have already made these lists of 100. And what it does is you click this little button and it takes 5 seconds and it pulls all 100 of those blogs into a project, goes and finds all the contact info using Hunter, and you can mass outreach to up to 200 people a day.
What's the tool called?
BuzzStream.
BuzzStream, yeah. So Bush, B-U-S-H?
B-U-Z-Z, Buzz.
Oh, Buzz, yeah, Buzz, yeah. Buzz, yeah. It's cool. So I actually did that process manually, showing a mastermind member how to outreach people, not for link building, but for something else, in terms of authority. That's really cool.
How many people do you have in your mastermind?
It depends. I don't work with more than 20 people at one time.
If later on this week or next week or whatever, you want to do a live, you can get them all on one Zoom call. I'll show them how to build 10 links. We're going to say 10 as it's a nice round number. Could be more. In 15 minutes. Cool. If you want me to do that, I'll come in and show you exactly how to do that using just BuzzStream.
Yeah, cool. Maybe we give instead of having to do it live, maybe we maybe can pre-record it or something. I don't know what's going to be easier.
Well, yeah, I can do that as well. It's because the idea is, right, this one tool that costs you about $30 a month can replace me, who will cost you $5,000 a month.
Amazing. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I want to, just for people listening, what makes the backlink good versus the bad backlink, in terms of a lot of people thinking about DR and authority, but I want to talk about things like relevancy, traffic, and then other metrics. What's a good backlink look like versus the bad backlink for a site? Yeah,
so the first thing you're ever going to see when you talk to a link builder is metrics, traffic numbers, and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Because that's what people want to buy. They want high DR links with high organic traffic. I mostly completely ignore all that, and I only use that for sales. Mm-hmm. When I build links to my own sites, I'm going purely for relevance, right? It's if the person who clicks on the link on that page will be interested in my thing that's at the end of it, then it's a good link. And that's how the internet should work, I think.
Yeah, and we talk about this in different forms of marketing, but I think a really good word to use that can help explain this is intent, right? Yeah. Having a high intent, the more relevant, like if you've got an article on a dog, the best dog food for this particular dog breed, whilst they're going through this illness, if you got that article on your own site, and then there's another article on another site that covers that links to your site, that's a high relevant link, because they've got high intent, because people are going to want to know more about that diet for that dog at that period.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a tip for all you people who want to go out and buy links, right? And you want to do it yourself. The best way to do it is just to Google whatever whatever keyword you want to rank for, just Google that in quotation marks in Google, and then every site that comes up already has your keyword on the page. You cannot get more relevant than that.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean those sites are good, because we'll go through later on more criteria, but as a standalone, your very first list, just do that, because your keyword's already on the page. If you offer this person money to change that keyword to your link, perfectly relevant link on a perfectly relevant page.
Awesome. So you're more focused on relevancy versus other metrics, right? That's great.
Me personally, yes, but you can't. It's really, really difficult to teach somebody, especially if they're in another country, because we hire a lot of like Filipino and Indian people. If it's really hard to teach those people what relevancy is. It's one of those things you just know it if you see it, kind of thing. So you have to have, like, there has to be a really strict criteria of, if it's this, no. If it's this, no. If it's this, no. Yeah. And it's easier to say, if a site has this, don't add them to the list, than it is to say it needs to have this, this, and this. Because it's easier to have negative factors for them to discard than it is to find positive factors to add.
Yeah. I know what it's like working with team, and it can be a challenge, but it's great once you've got an awesome team, like you mentioned before. I want to talk about getting links to competitors' sites. Sometimes people are just like, they wouldn't even think about it, that they could get a link from a competitor's site, whether it's direct or indirect. I know that you love to do this. It's a cheeky way to get links, and usually the relevancy is quite high. That's it for part 1 of this training with Dan Ray. You can find more on Dan, what he does, over on his Twitter account. It's at Amazing Dan Ray. There'll be links to that in the show notes too. In part 2 of this training that we do with the mastermind, you can only get access if you are a part of the mastermind. Dan and I talk about how to get backlinks from our competitors, even if you never thought it was possible to do so. We also talk about why following the same boring outreach template does not get you any responses, doesn't get you results, and what we can do instead. We also talk about why and how you should give more than what you get when you're looking to build backlinks and doing outreach. And Dan shares the story of what he did to give so much value that asking for a backlink in exchange for the value he provided would make it really hard for that person to say no. We also talk about how to build an outreach team of just 3 people, what their tasks are, and how to get awesome results without you actually having to do the work. We talk about how to train your team to do the work without it costing you time to check it as well. But we also talk about how to set the team up for success so they're confident they can get results without bothering you as well. And we also answer some mastermind questions from mastermind members and so much more in part 2 of the training. If you want to get access to this and any of the other trainings in the inner circle, you can join the mastermind by going to buyingonlinebusinesses.co/inner circle. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll speak to you soon.
Hey YouTube watcher, if you thought that video was good, you should check out this video here on the 2 best types of websites beginners should buy. Or check out my playlist on how I made my first 100K from buying websites and how to do due diligence. Check it out. It's an awesome playlist. You'll enjoy it.